talked about linear inequalities, and we went through going over what an inequality was. We went through and talked about how to shade and the 3 steps that you do for every inequality, right? So today we're going to do a little more practice, and we're going to see a practical application of it. So this is going to be our practice. And then the plan is that you will have time in class to do the rest. Capiche? Kaposh. I know. Thanks. All right, so step 1 is to make sure that your variable is alone. So in this case, our variable is y. So step 1 is to make sure y is by itself. Okay? Guys, I'm also going to need your help because for some reason, the program took away some of my lines. So if you notice that this should be an equal to, let me know. If you notice that a subtraction should be a plus, just make sure you let me know, okay?
Why does your graph always look
I have no clue, but
so weird.
it's okay. So here we go. Step 1 is done for us. Step 2 is we identify our slope. What is our slope? 2 over 1. And we identify our y-intercept. What is our y-intercept? 4. So that means we're going to start at 4. And we're going to go up 2 and right 1. And then we're going to go down 2 and left 1. So 0, 4 is our starting point. Up 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. Is my boundary line a dotted boundary line or a solid boundary line?
Dotted.
It's going to be dotted. I'm going to draw a solid and then erase because it's easier for me to do that. So I'm going to erase to make it look dotted. Hope that doesn't confuse anyone.
Which one are we on? 1. What?
Okay, so step 2 is done. Step 3 tells us to do what, guys?
To shade. We'll do our test.
What's our test? What's our best test point to use?
0,
0, 0. So we're going to use 0, 0 as our test point. For x, we're going to plug in for 0, 0, and for y, we're going to plug in 0. So 0 is less than 2 times 0 plus 4, which becomes is greater than 4. Is that true or false?
False.
False.
So shade on the other side.
So you shade on the other side. Good job, Priscilla. So I'm going to shade on the other side. So 0, 0 is here, so the side that I'm going to shade is the side that does not have 0, 0.
Oh, you shade the opposite.
Because it's false. If it's false, you shade the opposite. If it's true, then you shade the side.
Shut up. Opposite.
Guys,
How do you know
let's
which
go.
one to shade again?
Okay, see, listen.
False.
False, you shade the opposite. True, you shade where it's at. Remember, look back at your notes, flip over the paper if you need to reread your notes from yesterday. How do we feel about this?
Okay.
When we remember it?
Yes.
All right, let's go on to 2. What's the problem with 2?
The x isn't by itself.
I need to get, it's not in slope intercept form. All right, so first I need to get y by itself. Well, when I get, first off, guys, is this right?
I don't know the difference between.
No. Is it the same thing that's on your paper?
No.
Oh wait,
There's a line
I mean,
under
there's a
it.
line under your mouth.
See, look, y'all are just not even helping me.
I thought you meant.
All right, 1. So if I was to get y by itself, that means that I'm going to subtract.
The 3x.
So I have negative 5y is less than negative 3x plus 15. Is y by itself?
Less than or equal to.
Oh, less than or equal to. Thank you. Is it by itself yet?
No, you got to divide it by the
Negative 5.
What I do to one term, I have to do to.
The other.
And what's going to happen to my sign?
It's going to flip.
So my
Y equals greater than or equal to.
Negative 3 over 5.
Why is it so
Wait, why did the sign flip?
I'm not divided.
when you multiply or divide by a negative, your inequality changes.
Oh, I didn't.
When you multiply or divide by a negative, your inequality changes.
Is there only a negative or can you do positive too?
Only a negative. That's why I only said negative. 15 divided by negative 5 is
-3.
A negative divided by a negative is a,
Positive.
so that's why we have a positive 3/5.
So when there's like a number from the y and it's negative and you divide by it, then it's going to flip.
It's going to change my inequality.
Even if it's just this one, or it has to have
Just any inequality. It changes. All right, so 2. Identify my slope. What's my slope?
-3/5.
And where's my intercept?
-3.
So 0, -3 is my starting point. So I'm going to go to 0, -3. And at 0, -3, I'm going to go up 3 and over 5. Up 3, over 5. And then I'm going to go down 3 and over 5. Is it a dotted or solid boundary line? It is a solid boundary line. Aw, poo. My line went off. A little bit. Okay?
How come it's solid?
It is solid because it's greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. Anytime that or equal to comes into play, your boundary line is solid. All right, step 3 is what?
Plug in the 0.
So my test point is 0, 0. So 0, 0 is located above my line. It's not 0, 0, I'm sorry. Where's 0, 0? It's located above my line. So if 0, 0 is true, then I'm going to shade above my line. If 0, 0 is false, I'm going to shade below my line. So let's plug in 0, 0. So 0 is greater than or equal to 3/5 times 0 minus 3. So is 0 greater than or equal to -3?
That's true.
This is true, so I'm going to shade
The top of your line.
the top of my line.
I thought it was going down. Oh wait, I did the wrong inequality.
Are we catching on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to go to 3. So number 3, what do you notice I do not have?
You don't have your
You don't have
slope.
an x.
I don't have an X. Okay, I don't have an X, and the only reason why I don't have an X is that my slope has to equal what?
0.
0. So if my slope equals 0, I know what kind of line this is going to be. Horizontal. So I know I have to have a horizontal. So I'm going to end up with a horizontal line. All right, so step 1 is to get y by itself. That's easy. How do I get y by itself?
Divide by 3 on both sides.
Divide by 3 on both sides, and I get
And then negative 4.
y is greater than -4. So I have a horizontal line at -4. Is it a solid boundary line or a dotted boundary line?
Dotted.
Okay?
Don't you have to flip the sign though since you divided?
Did I divide by a negative?
No.
All right. So step 2, we've already done. Our slope was 0, and our intercept was at 0, -4.
So what do we shade?
That's our next step. Step 3 is to decide where do we shade. What's our best test point to use?
0, 0.
0, 0. So at 0, 0, it's above the line.
So 0.
So if it's true, we're going to shade the,
Above.
if it's false, we're going to shade
The bottom.
the bottom. So let's plug it in. 0 is greater than -4. It's true.
True.
Oh, no, I see negative. So shade the top.
So I'm going to shade all of the top.
Oh, so you don't have to plug in both points if they don't have it?
Mm-mm. If I don't have X, can I plug in X?
No.
Cool?
Cool.
All right. What do we notice is missing with 4?
Y.
The Y. That means I do not have a Y-intercept. So if I don't have a Y-intercept, can I go through the...
Vertical.
It has to be vertical. Yes, Brittany.
On the other question, remember that, how do you know to shade the top part?
I just
How to shade the top and bottom?
Yeah, like, how do you know, like,
So you locate a point. So our point that we like to use is 0, 0, right? 0, 0 is located above my horizontal line, right? So if it's true, then I'm going to shade above. If
how
it's
do you
false,
know if it's, like, on the little number, like when you do your work over here, how do you know it's above it?
Because 0, 0
I
is.
mean, not like that. No. Like, come here. Come here. Come look at my paper.
Guys, please work number 4. Why?
Because I don't have that one, but I was trying to.
No, I'm not. No.
No, but how do you know that it's? I don't understand like how you put it shade. I know.
If you don't have a y, you just don't use the y.
If it's true, if 0, 0 is right here, right? If I plug 0, 0,
The sign, like. How do you know that the sign is like that? Like
this.
yeah. Does that determine if it's above or below?
Yeah.
Well, it can. What is y greater than -4? Above -4. Brittany, I really would love to answer your question, but I feel like I've answered it. And if anyone else would like to interpret Brittany's question for me.
Do what? What was your
What was the
question?
question, Brittany?
Okay, so we are trying to figure out when is y greater than -4, right? So logically at this point you should be saying, well, y is greater than -4 when it's above it, correct?
Yeah.
Well, just in case you cannot think that way, choose a test point. So we chose 0, 0. So when we took 0, 0 and we plugged it into this function, we got 0 is greater than -4. Is it a true statement or a false statement?
Okay.
It's a true statement. Because that's a true statement, that means this is the area where all true statements lie. So you want to shade the area where all of the true statements lie. If it had been a false statement, then you would have shaded the other area where therefore the true statements lie. I don't know if I answered your question, but I'm going to pretend I did. Okay, awesome. All right, vertical line. So to find a vertical line, we need to get what variable by itself? X. When you got x by itself for step 1, what did you get?
X is greater than equal to
-4.
He sounds so funny.
So that means my vertical line is going to be at,
-4.
is it a solid boundary line or a dotted boundary line?
Solid.
More man.
She said more manly.
All right. So that told us the reason why is our slope is undefined, correct?
I still shaded down.
Undefined.
Uh-huh.
And do we have a y-intercept?
No.
There's no y-intercept, but we have an x-intercept at -4,
0.
0. All right. And then 3. What's our test point? 0, 0. All right. 0, 0 is on the right side of the function. So if 0, 0 is true, we're going to shade the.
Right.
If 0, 0 is false, we're going to shade the.
Left.
All right, so let's plug it in. So 0 is greater than or equal to -4. True or false?
True.
True.
Shade the right.
So we shade the right. That's my beautiful shading for you.
That is very beautiful.
So if we shade like that, are you gonna take off?
No. Don't waste pen ink or pencil lead. We get the point.
Kayla.
All right, any questions? How do we feel?
Pretty good.
I feel pretty good about it.
All right.
Wait, are we gonna do them from 5 together?
Yes, now we're going to get into the word problem stage of it. So you understand the numerical, but now can you understand the real world situation? So we have Jim's Lawns R Us. You get it? Like Toys R Us? Jim's Lawns R Us charges a base fee of $20 plus $10 per hour. Angel's Garden Care caters to a more affluent clientele and charges higher rates. So she thinks because people are a little more wealthy, they should pay her a little more. Write an equation to find the charge for Jim's Lawn R Us. Okay? So Jim's Lawns R Us, how would we write that? How much is this charge?
Y equals 20x plus.
Isn't it 10x plus 20?
It would be
10x plus 20.
okay, so our keywords here is this is base, which means that that's where we started, right? And when we start mathematically, that's called our intercept. And per hour, this is our rate of change. And rate of change means what? From your vocabulary? Slope. Rate of change means slope. So this is his equation. Well, next it says write an inequality describing the cost for Angel's garden care. Well, we know Angel charges more than Jim, right?
Yeah.
So if Angel charges more than Jim, her cost is going to be what?
Y is greater than
There we
10x plus 20.
Y is greater than 10x plus 20. So now we want to sketch where Angel's possible cost of her garden would be.
So you start at 20.
So we're going to start at 20. And then what's $10 up from 20?
10 over 1.
So 20 plus 10 is?
30 over 1.
30, 40.
And it would just keep going, right? Is it a dotted line or a solid line?
Dotted.
Perfect. So I'm going to go back and erase.
Oh, this is Angel, right?
Yeah.
So Y is Angel's, right?
Y is Angel. All right. So it wants to know, where does Angel's cost lie?
On
Above the
top,
line.
above the line.
Why above the line?
Because it's going to be greater.
It's going to be greater than. Did we have to use a test point?
No.
No, because we realize there's a pattern, right? When it's greater than, it's usually above the line. Or if it's a vertical line, it's usually to the right of the line.
Now I know the set.
Now, do you see that?
Wait, what'd you say?
If it's greater than, it's usually above the line, right? Or if it's a vertical line, it's to the right. If it's less than,
Is that always true?
if it's
to the right.
I messed up.
So we
Greater is where? Up top.
All right, so clearly Angel thinks her work is worth a little bit more. So therefore, her value is going to be above our dear friend. How was it?
How is that true, though?
Let's test the point.
Wait, no, on this one. Let's see, this one's greater than, this one's less than, but they're both above the line.
Do you remember when you were showing us if the
This was greater than.
This one's greater than, number 1 is greater than, and number 2 is, oh, it changed.
It changed. Remember, we divided by a negative.
Oh, yeah, okay.
number 1 and 2.
Number 2.
Number 1 did change.
You see it now, Heaven?
Yeah, I wasn't looking at the final one.
All right, how do we feel?
Good.
Good. Awesome. Well, guys, that is it for today.